Followers of Jerry. Jerry is everything. Person of interest. Father Pigeon. Meg Psychiatric Hospital intake form. Name. Francisc Alberici. Date of birth. 02/23/1978. Date of no clipping. 11/20/2011. Afflictions. The followers of Jerry. Referred by Solomon Myers. Date of admission 06/05/2022. Intake status involuntary. Suicide/self-injury risk no. Symptoms. Francisc Alberici experiences the monothematic delusion that the entity 7 is a powerful god who he must worship and spread the word of, as is common for those exposed to the entity. These delusions have reached the point where Alberici is considered to be a danger to himself and others, engaging in several terroristic attacks on Meg bases prior to his admission. Additional notes. As a high-ranking member of the followers of Jerry, Francisc Alberici prefers to be referred to as Father Pigeon. Image caption. Francisc Alberici as photographed in the courtyard of the Meg Psychiatric Hospital. Description. Francisc Alberici, also known by his alias Father Pigeon, is a high-ranking member of the cult known as the Followers of Jerry, who is currently staying involuntarily at the Meg Psychiatric Hospital in Level 11. Before his admission, he engaged in several coordinated attacks on Meg bases with other members of the Followers. In appearance, Alberici is a white man with short, light brown hair and brown eyes. He stands at a height of 5'7", 170 centimeters, and wears a pair of rectangle-rimmed spectacles. Prior to his admission to the Meg Psychiatric Hospital, he was always seen wearing a set of dark blue robes with a gold trim, as is common for high-ranking members of the Followers. In personality, Alberici has been described as generally talkative and intelligent, engaging in conversation with other patients, breaching various topics such as philosophy and politics and the beliefs of the followers of Jerry. Alberici is fluent in English, French, Italian, and Spanish, and claims to have grown up in Queens, New York, as the son of Italian immigrants. From there, he claims to have worked in a small home appliances repair service before falling into the Backrooms in 2011 and being indoctrinated into the followers of Jerry shortly afterward. In organization with other members of the followers of Jerry, Alberici is known to have led several attacks on Meg bases by threatening to explode homemade pipe bombs in an attempt to kidnap members of the Meg for exposure to Entity 7. The first 3 of these situations were successfully defused by Meg members without incident. But in the 4th and final of these attacks, the bomb was triggered accidentally, resulting in several non-lethal injuries. It was after this attack that Alberici was apprehended by the Meg and admitted to the Meg Psychiatric Hospital. During his stay at the psychiatric hospital, he has been relatively compliant, and there have been no major incidents. Supplementary documents. Interviewer. Myra Powell. Interviewee. Francisc Alberici. Forward. The following interview was taken at the Meg Psychiatric Hospital by one of its staff members. Begin log. Powell. Hi, Father Pigeon. How are you feeling today? Alberici. Very good, Mary. Thank you for asking. Powell. That's good to hear. Alberici. Say, do you know how soon they will be able to let me out? Powell. Oh, Father, you know we can't let you out yet. You're still very sick, and we need to help you recover first. Alberici. It seems to me that I'm relatively clear of mind. Alberici laughs. Alberici. But I know you've labeled me as sick because that's how you categorize things you don't understand. I have seen things you can only dream of, and I understand the world in ways you have yet to grasp. I'm not sick, Myra. Ignorance is sickness, and I have already been cured. I was cured the moment I touched that blue bird. Powell. With all due respect, Father, you set off a bomb in a megabase. People could have died. Alberici. Yes, perhaps my actions were a bit extreme. Some in the followers told me as such, as well. But if you had seen what I've seen, Myra, you would understand that I was serving a higher purpose. I was saving them, Myra, and my methods were no more cruel than you holding me captive in this hospital to save me. You speak of the followers as if we were brainwashed, but that just isn't so. We're perfectly rational, Myra. We're simply acting based on information that you don't have. In log. Interviewer. Myra Powell. Interviewee. Francisca Alberici. Forward. The following interview was taken at the Meg Psychiatric Hospital by one of its staff members. Begin log. Powell. Hi again, Father Pigeon. I'm here to ask you about what it's like to come under Jerry's effects. Alberici. Ah, I would be happy to explain. Do you have any pets, Myra? Powell. Yes, a cat from 81. Alberici. Good. Now, when you fill its bowl up with water from the sink, where does it think the water comes from? Powell. He probably doesn't know. Alberici. Exactly. And yet, it is not aware of the fact that it doesn't know. It simply takes for granted that when its human pulls the lever, water will come out. That's just something that it views as a scientific truth, and it has probably never occurred to it that there is any deeper cause to effect. The laws of the universe are simply fundamental. Now imagine it was able to see through your eyes, to truly understand why things occur the way they do. That's what it's like to touch Jerry. Powell. And what knowledge exactly did you learn when you touched Jerry? Alberici. Much of it cannot be truly understood without seeing it, but I will try my best to explain. Powell. Please do. Alberici. Are you religious, Myra? Powell. Well, I was raised Catholic, but Alberici, I was never a religious man. I was never fully atheistic. But out of all the different explanations provided, no religion seemed to have enough evidence for me to choose one over the other. And yet, there were certain things about our universe that I just felt science was never quite equipped to explain. Powell. And what would those be? Alberici. Well, no question can truly be answered by science. Why does an apple fall from a tree? Because matter naturally attracts other matter. We call it gravity. And why does matter naturally attract other matter? Well, we can keep going into the realm of spatial curvature and Newton's laws of motion, but the point is that eventually, if we keep playing this game, we will reach a point where the answer is simply because that's just how it works. We have no explanation that doesn't simply beget more questions. But perhaps most of all, why is there something instead of nothing? Why is there a universe instead of simply an absence? That's a question neither science nor religion can explain. Most religions blame it on a god, but that only kicks the can further down the road because no religion can explain why there is a god instead of nothing. Powell. And Jerry answered this question for you? Alberici. Yes, Jerry created the universe, and Jerry created Jerry. And I understand that me saying that sounds absurd, but I have seen it, and a full explanation goes beyond ideas our language is able to communicate, beyond ideas that our brains are even built to comprehend. Powell. So you're saying that a parrot created the universe and also itself. You must understand how ridiculous that sounds. Alberici. Oh, but Jerry is not a parrot, Myra. The parrot is simply a pattern created by our brains to fill in the gaps where we cannot comprehend. Jerry is everything, Myra. Jerry is everything that has ever been and everything that will ever be, and all you need to do is touch him. Powell. One thing I don't understand, Father, is that if Jerry is so powerful, why does he need people like you to do his bidding? Why can't it just do it itself? Alberici. Ah, but Jerry is not all powerful. It is simply all being. It was from Jerry that our world first emerged, and it will eventually collapse back into Jerry. But right now, it's our responsibility to show others the truth. Not for Jerry's sake, but for our own, because in ignorance, we can never truly fully find salvation. End log.